Hey guys, welcome in the Political Brawl. This is Matt Miller, and President Trump just went off script during the turkey pardoning ceremony today, ruthlessly roasting Democrats without any filter whatsoever. This is why we love the guy. Let's take a look right here.
On behalf of the First Lady and the entire Trump family, I want to wish all Americans a very, very happy Thanksgiving. It's a great time of the year, and our country is doing really well economically like we've never done before. Today, we continue a time-honored American tradition. Well, that's a well-trained turkey. See how happy he is? In a few moments, I will grant a full, absolute, and unconditional presidential pardon to two handsome Thanksgiving turkeys, and this is their lucky day. This is a lucky day for them. But before going any further, I want to make an important announcement because you remember last year, after a thorough and very rigorous investigation by Pam Bondi and all of the people at Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, the White House Counsel's Office, and the Department of Everything. We have a Department of Everything. You know what that is? I think that's called the White House. Into a terrible situation caused by a man named Sleepy Joe Biden. He used an auto pen last year for the turkey's pardon. So I have the official duty to determine, and I have determined that last year's turkey pardons are totally invalid, as are the pardons of about every other person that was pardoned other than, where's Hunter? No, Hunter's was good. That was the one pardon, Pam, that was good, right? The rest of them are all invalid. I don't know what the hell you're going to do about that, but now we're going to take a little of the joking. That is a mess. But they're hereby null and void. The turkeys known as Peach and Blossom last year have been located, and they were on their way to be processed, in other words, to be killed. But I have stopped that journey, and I am officially pardoning them, and they will not be served for Thanksgiving dinner. We saved them in the nick of time. This one has plenty of time, but they
What
were
a nice
saved in
guy.
the nick of time. And this is like a record-setting turkey that's going to be saved. The turkeys being pardoned today go by the names of Gobble and Waddle. When I first saw their pictures, I thought we should send them, I shouldn't say this. I was going to call them Chuck and Nancy.
Chuck and
Then
Nancy.
I realized I wouldn't be pardoning them. I would never pardon those two people. I wouldn't pardon them. I wouldn't care what Melania told me. Darling, I think it would be a nice thing to do. I won't do it, darling. These are two of the largest turkeys ever presented to an American president, over 50 pounds each. It's the largest we've ever had. And those are big turkeys. Are they as good as the normal-sized turkey? Better or as good? Do they tend to be a little fatty, maybe? No, he said no. He knows the turkey business. Anyway, despite their size, Secretary Kennedy has formally certified that these are the first ever Maha turkeys. I don't know if I agree with that. These are Maha. In other words, they could be fat, but they're still Maha. They've been fattened on a steady diet of grass, beef, to allow the smoothies and all of the other things that they've been eating for this occasion. This was a really big occasion, but they've eaten every fattening food that you can eat. We wanted to really make them special, and they really are. They're like record-setting. I've never seen a turkey that big before. Are they violent at all? Will they attack as I walk over? Because if they were, I'll stay right up here. But as you know, we're a tough-on-crime administration. We are tough on crime. You know, our border had 0 people coming in for the last 7 months, right? 0. I mean, even I find that hard to believe. They had millions and millions of people pour into our border from prisons, from mental institutions, gang members, drug dealers.
This is what we voted for.
To our country like
Incredible.
we were stupid people. We're not stupid people anymore. But nobody's ever seen anything. The job that they've done on the Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, the whole group, the job they've done on the border is almost like a miracle. We have, and the people that make these statistics that said 0, they've said 0 for the last 7 months. It has to be like a few people got in, but they say 0. And they're radical left Democrats to do the scoring. So I can't imagine they did that for us. The truth is, We have no people coming into our country illegally. It's an amazing statistic, and I'm very proud of it. And we have the most people working in the United States today, by far, than we ever had in the history of our country.
And that is what we all voted for. We put this guy in office. We put him to work. And his first year has been incredible. And of course, it's nobody's perfect. But largely speaking, President Trump has done what he said he was going to do. And he still has 3 more years to get other stuff done that we'd like to see. And I think he's done a good job handling everything from the border to very complicated and tricky foreign affairs and defense situations, handling Iran right now, handling Venezuela. Hopefully none of that leads to a prolonged, broader conflict, but he's done a good job keeping us out, being efficient, being concise, getting the job done that's needed, and then getting the hell out of there. Not like the Iraq War, not like Afghanistan, not like Vietnam. He's not interested in that. I want to keep watching here and see what he says, because he goes in even more on the Democrats, and he does it in a hilarious way that only Trump can do. Let's take a look.
By the time you have 4 or 5 weeks, you're going to have it down almost where there won't be crime. And we could do that in Chicago, by the way, if they would let us. If the mayor was a low IQ person, but he should understand this. This is a very serious thing. You saw all the crime that took place last night, the night before. The woman with the burning, they burned the woman. To be talking about that now, they burned this beautiful woman riding in a train. A man was arrested 72 times. 72 times, think of that. And they'll let him out again. The liberal judges will let him out again. But we're ready to go. We've been moving toward Chicago. We have a governor that thinks it's wonderful that only like 7 people were killed this week. But we are moving toward doing, we're going to, if crime gets, it's horrible what's happening in Chicago. We could make Chicago a safe city in a period of 4 weeks. In a period of 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, it would be totally safe. And the people of Chicago want us to go there. And if you look at the crime that's taken place in Chicago in the last 2 weeks, just take a look. It's on the front page of every newspaper. It's out of control. The mayor is incompetent, and the governor is a big fat slob. He ought to invite us in, say, please make Chicago safe. We're going to lose a great city if we don't do it quickly. Make Chicago, we'll do the same thing as we did in D.C.
Make Chicago safe, like D.C.
Everywhere we've gone, it's become almost instantly safe. And I want to do it in Chicago. So, Governor Pritzker, if you're listening, let's get your act together. Invite us in. We're going to make your place so safe. You're not going to have these crimes that are making the newspapers and the front page of every newspaper and television story, news story. We'll make Chicago a safe place very quickly.
What's happening in Chicago is so unforgivable, unacceptable. These blue city mayors, these soft on crime mayors, have failed their citizens over and over and over again for decades now, letting crime get out of control. And when Trump has a solution to use the National Guard to come in and take control like he did in Washington, D.C., and I can attest to that. I live in Washington, D.C. There are areas that, me and my wife used to go to these restaurants on Capitol Hill. It was in kind of a sketchy area. There was homeless encampments there. There were drug addicts everywhere. You had to walk through a very unpleasant area just to get to the good restaurants that we like to frequent. I went back recently, and the place is immaculate. There's not even a piece of trash on the ground. And you do see, actually, we saw patrols of National Guard in the area that night. It worked. Trump's plan, it made D.C. safer. And you still see the Democrats in D.C. D.C. is full of Democrats, by the way, complaining and whining about this as if this isn't a universally, objectively good thing. Trump could cure cancer. He could bring world peace. He could do anything like that. And they would still find something to complain about. And it's really just immature and just horrible. Let's keep watching.
We draw strength from the love of family and friends, and we express our undying gratitude for the men and the women of the United States Armed Forces. We love them. We pray that peace and prosperity will continue to bless our land, and together we'll really just keep this great drive going to make America great again. MAGA, I think it's the greatest expression in the history of politics. Make America great again. So once again, Melania, thank you for doing such a great job and being such a great First Lady. And now let's go and give Waddle. Waddle, by the way, is missing in action, but that's okay. We'll pretend Waddle is here. The gift that they've been waiting for. And I'll move over and I will just say very nicely, Gobble your pardon. Come on, let's say it in front of Gobble. Thank you very much, everybody.
I think it's so interesting how half of America seems to love President Trump's charisma, the way he talks, the way he jokes around, doesn't take things too seriously when they don't need to be. But the other half of this country absolutely hates it. They hate his personality. They hate his whole demeanor, his way of talking. I think he's hilarious, and I think he did the right thing here. You know, he used it as an opportunity, of course he did, to attack his Democrat opponents. But he did it in a way that was funny, that was, you know, not too over the top. He's making the points he wants to make. He's calling out Chicago. He's calling out the people in D.C. and Nancy and Chuck and, you know, these people who have opposed him, who have thrown everything at him. He's going to fight. He's a fighter. But I think it's easy to see why so many, 70 million Americans fell in love with the guy and still stand behind him, right? Now, is everything he's ever done perfect? No. And we're seeing a big fracturing on the right now, unfortunately, over some disagreements about what Trump has done related to Israel, maybe related to the Epstein files. We see Marjorie Taylor Greene parting ways, unfortunately. I was a fan of hers. Tucker Carlson, once a huge Trump advocate and campaigned for him, is now going a different direction, and many other commentators on the right as well. I think it's important that we stay unified. You know, we need to understand what is truly important, and we need to stay together here. We can't be fighting each other stronger and harder than we're fighting the left, because that's just going to destroy us. It's going to give the left an opportunity to come in and win in 2026 and 2028. If we are fractured, if we are divided, if we're fighting each other, there's no excuse for that. And the last thing I'll say is it's unfortunate that Charlie Kirk's passing seems to mark when this powder keg was lit on the right, causing this civil war that's happening and kind of getting worse day by day right now. I don't want to see, he was a great unifier. He was a person who was able to bring people together on the right, despite their differences of opinion, and make a strong conservative movement. And I think that it's our duty to Charlie, who sacrificed everything for what he believed in, to stay together, to make sure that we stay strong and we stop fighting each other like we're fighting each other right now. So I want to hear what you guys think of that in the comments. What do you think of the ongoing civil war on the right? What do you think of Trump's first year as it comes to a close here? Do you think he's doing a good job? Is he delivering on his promises to the American people? And what do you think the next 3 years are going to hold? So thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you guys get notified when we post brand new videos here on the channel. I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you next time.